Here the objective in 1 or 2 years is not to go out to town, but rather to buy salt and have all the harvest products, which is the most important thing to sustain a family. Here on the farm we don't buy any meat in town. If we need a chicken, a hen or fish, even when my family comes they kill a pig. We are in the self-sufficient experimental farm, La Tierra Prometida de la Vereda Cañaveral in the municipality of San Carlos. At this moment the farm is 12 hectares of land. We have some experiments that have been carried out for 3 years with animals such as Creole chickens, fish and pigs, which we tried to feed with a protein bank that I am making based on mouse killer, cane, boar and rami. This delicious handmade chocolate is made here on the farm and is organic. I invite you to take a tour of the farm so that you can replicate it on your farms and learn from this project that is very profitable for the whole family. We headed towards the incubator project where we bring out Criollo animals flushed with purines. At this time I am going to feed the birds. The chickens here consume 50% of the protein and concentrates bought in the market. This is cornmeal with ripped cane produced on the same farm. This ripped cane is a source of protein and energy for the chickens. We also add a bit of layer to raise the chickens since it is very important to give the Creole animals a good protein. Although they are also released so that they consume worms, crickets and beetles that are loose animals, and he added a portion of flour to them. Corn. Pure corn that we call it purely cachuco. We make the mixture and stir it well with the cane. He used 50% concentrate since they are very expensive in the market. All of this are byproducts of the farm, the cane, the boar and the quibarbarigos such as the mousetrap, which is a source of very high protein. It contains 17% protein from the killer mouse. It is a legume, and we can have it on the farm as live fences. When I have enough fruit on the farm, such as pineapples and papayas, I bring them and I divide portions to all the corrals. It is good to feed the animals twice a day in the morning and in the afternoon. Since they are Creoles, we do not need to leave the light on all night. We are going to feed the chickens at will. We fill their feeders, and the most important thing is that they do not lack water. Since they are Creole animals, they require sufficient protein and a sufficient energy level, which is sugarcane. Here we see, for example, the number of chickens that are coming out of the incubators. And in 8 days we move them to the other fattening shed where we clearly add rice flour with ground cane, and we completely remove the concentrate from the trade. Let's remember that water and its quality are important. To avoid chemicals, we add garlic with aloe vera every 15 days to prevent the chickens from getting sick. These chickens are the ones that are in the cradle with fixed food always available and quality water. These chickens were born 3 days ago and remain in the cradle from 8 to 15 days, then we pass them to the rearing pens. Here the project is to get an average of 200 Creole animals for the consumption of the village and the town. The incubators are industrial electric, they are not homemade. I have 3 incubators, one of 50, 100 and 200 eggs due to the number that come out. It is advisable not to leave the eggs for a long time, maximum 15 days, that they are fresh to place in the incubator. You have to try to clean the eggs and place them in the incubator with the thin tip always facing downwards. The only thing the incubator does is replace the heat of the hen, which it maintains at an average of 37.5 degrees. It is recommended never to let the chicken run out of water. The incubator in the 21 days since it fulfills its function as the chicken does. With 3 days left before the birth, an important piece of information, all the dates must be written down. A little motor that is the smoker is turned on so that the eggshell softens. One must have 10 hens for each rooster on the farm. One must collect an average of 7 to 8 eggs a day, and every 15 is the average for the incubator, which is 50 eggs. When the chickens are born, they immediately arrive in the cradle. It is also advisable to keep the water very clean and available. After the eggs leave the incubators, maintenance is carried out. It is left uncovered, cleaned with formaldehyde and left to rest for an average of 8 or 15 days because the resistance is 21 days. Continuously in the 37.5 degree heat. We have 2 ponds, one for cacama and one for tilapia. They are 6 meters wide by 10 meters long, more or less per cubic meter. In cacamas we plant 4 per meter and in tilapia we plant 8 per meter. The first thing is to check that the pond is in perfect condition when the seed arrives. What we do is feed it. We leave it in the bag for half an hour. Then we check that the water in which the seed comes is of the same temperature as that of the pond. We sow and leave it the first day. On the second day we begin to feed with flour, because very small fry come and they will not consume such large grain. When we see that the fish are already of a good size, we begin to give them another food that we produce here on the farm. It is a plant called boar. We crush it and begin to feed them, combining the mixture 1 concentrated day, 1 boar day. This helps us to lower production costs and also makes the fish taste very good. In this system that we are carrying out, it takes a little longer, but the production cost is very low. We are talking about 6 to 7 months more or less, or 2 more months. It all depends on the weather. More or less after 7 months they are at 350-400 grams. If we leave them longer they reach the pound. We cover them with mesh because we have many predators. Generally one makes a record to see the size and we look at how much food we are supplying it. After 6 to 7 months the fish is already for consumption here in the same house, for the family and farm staff, as it is a very healthy food and we try to get the product as clean as possible. Lebardo, girls. Hello, how did you wake up? Lebardo, the girls. Let's see, Grandma. I'm going to make the food for you. I'll prepare the food for you. I am going to prepare food for them with plantain trunks, with all the waste from the banana farm. Little boy. We chop everything we call stubble from the farm. We have the boar. the banana trunk and the rice flour, which is the only thing what do we buy. I always prepare their food for the day. They are fed twice a day, in the morning and at 4 in the afternoon. Every week I release them outdoors to de-stress because I don't like animals locked up.
Cerrados.
We are going to prepare the food for the pigs in an average of 2 to 4 kilos according to their size, and we are going to feed them. These pigs have a double purpose for food for the family. For walks and for the market when there is enough, because there are 5 of them, and for the maintenance of the farm as well as its expenses. As I feed them, they become silent. And that's it, I can calmly start to grind them more. We are going to chop the trunk of the plantain since this process cannot be done in the typewriter because it is very large. This is pure potassium for the pigs. We observe that nothing is lost on the farm. We are adding flour. It is good to see that there is no proliferation of flies. Nor the smell of garages, because with that smell the concentrates that contain many chemicals, many chemical vitamins, disappear. The animal is feeding naturally, and we could call them organic pigs. We are already feeding them with the trunk of the plantain, with rice flour. And we can see that the well-fed animals are calming down and their stress decreases. We see that with this amount we try to feed them all. The feeding ends, and at 4 in the afternoon we do the same procedure again with mashed water. We finish feeding the pigs and we can calmly continue doing farm work. With the pig manure I am making the biodigester, where I have removed a certain amount of gas that in 20 days gave me the average amount to cook a pan agua panela and rice, since I did not let it ferment much longer. We are thinking of placing a plastic biodigester that will last the whole week to take the hose to the farm kitchen. The conclusion, really, or the final objective of the Integral Farm, is to demonstrate that if as a farmer we let go of the laziness of buying all the fertilizers, the concentrates, we are capable of demonstrating that the farm is self-sustaining, we support the family, and we can even sustain a permanent worker on the farm. I would like someone next to me to build a better one, that I have served as a model for another person, that they build it much better, to feel satisfied that they did learn. What I want is for the student to excel to the teacher. That's what I want most, for someone to set up a much better farm.